Okay, so yeah, hi everyone. Welcome to my talk on how to bring accessibility into your teams. This is actually a very important topic and it's sometimes overlooked at and sometimes not even spoken about at workplaces. So it's important to bring these into your teams, and I will share my tips with you and my experiences of how I brought this. So a little bit about myself that the moderator already shared. I've been testing over 8 years, well, 9 years now. I've studied computer science. I'm a blogger, speaker, host. I'm a trainer at the Coders Guild as well. And I'm currently working at Deloitte. So the table of contents today includes some background knowledge of what is accessibility, why accessibility is important, why should we do this, the benefits, what are the benefits of actually bringing accessibility to your applications or the kind of product you're working on. Part 2 will be around how did I bring accessibility into the team. So what did I actually do, my steps, coaching your teams to basically understand why this is important. And then part 3 would be when to do accessibility and the tips. So the power of the web is in its universality. Access by everyone, regardless of disability, is an essential aspect. So I found that quote really, really interesting and very important as well. So that's the kind of mindset you have to have, and then bring accessibility into your teams. So let's get started. Part 1. So did you know these are the kind of numbers in some of the areas around the world that I could research and find details. So I've got Australia there, I've got India, I've got the UK, and I've got Northern America there. So they're big numbers, they're not small numbers. And sometimes we feel like, sometimes I feel like if we don't know, we don't act. So it's really important to kind of learn that there's big numbers and there's people who are disabled and they can still access your apps. So I think we should consider this. And a question to you, will you consider bringing accessibility into your teams now after seeing these numbers? So are we, because of these numbers that we've seen, are we making it accessible for them? For individuals without a disability, technology makes things easier. For individuals with a disability, technology makes things possible. So right now I'm using glasses. These are my assisted technology. If I take these off, I can really see a blurry screen. So if I am struggling, can you imagine other people that might be struggling and they might have problems using your application and then they might just jump into a competitor's application. So you rather keep these people for your app rather than let them go off to a competitor app, right? So that's why it's quite important to understand that more people. How did I come across accessibility as a tester? So first time, I was actually working on a project for an open source product. Open source product for a bank. And it was a front-end product and we went live without thinking about accessibility. And the manager came running around saying, have you thought about accessibility? And I was like, what even is that? And then obviously we all got nervous because we had gone live, but we didn't think about it, and how someone who has some disabilities but can still use and access technology, how would they use our application? So then that's where it clicked to me that this is a very, very important topic. So why did I think of this topic today is because it's important to share this information. Many times us as testers, we are so motivated, we walk 10 steps ahead and then get pushed 5 back. So it's important to kind of deliver that this is an important topic and one should actually acknowledge this and bring this into their work. So are you aware of this? This is a question to the audience listening. Are you aware of this accessibility side of things? Have you ever thought about it? Or if there is accessibility in your teams, is it enough? Some useful resources and advocates that I actually follow and would like you to follow as well for more information is AD Stokes, Viv Richards, Lisandra Armazaguila, Suman Bala, and Mary Drake. I think they also post a lot around accessibility, and I think you would benefit from learning from them as well and their blog posts. Okay, so why is accessibility important? First of all, around your community. You build relationships with your community. You want to reach out to more people. It's a smart step to take business-wise because you're reaching more people. That means your application will be innovative. That's the next step. And more people would want to use it. Not many companies think around accessibility straight away. It's one of the things they do at the end as well. So try and bring it sooner. That makes you stand out in the crowd as well. Branding-wise, it helps enhance your brand. You will be the most innovative with these kind of aspects already as part of your application. In terms of market research, it makes you extend to more people. It makes your company extend market research. They basically check how many more people could use our product. You're basically socially aware and trying to have that relationship with everyone. And legalities, it minimizes a legal risk. So if you capture this legality sooner, you are not going to have someone haunting you in the future saying, we're going to charge you for not making your application accessible for everyone, or it's not according to the standards of accessibility for the community. So why get into all of that when you can actually do it sooner, and then it saves money as well. So think about these things and see how you could kind of bring it into your team. Some of the benefits. So the benefits of bringing accessibility into your team is, one, you reach a wider audience and you're socially aware. You're trying to make your product available for as many people as possible. And you're actually respecting those as well who might have some sort of disability regarding their hands, their eyesight, their hearing. You're thinking about them as well. So that's really respectful. Then goal 2 would be increase usability. So more people are actually going to be using your product. So that's a plus point for everyone. The goal number 3 would be basically it satisfies current and future legal requirements and ethics. So you don't need to worry about kind of extra costs in the future. And you write higher quality code as well in that way. And let me see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, it basically finally improves maintainability and efficiency. If you start accessibility sooner, you can maintain it. If you start accessibility after a few iterations and you're live in prod, and then all of a sudden you're bringing accessibility, you're going to have more vulnerabilities. You'll have critical vulnerabilities at that point, and then it's hard to kind of assess what shall we deliver. Shall we deliver accessibility now, or shall we deliver whatever is in our roadmap and in our backlog? So this is a little video that I'm going to share with you, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so what did we see there? There was a door handle at the entrance of the door, and there was no handle inside. So if I'm in my bedroom, I can't go out unless I have long nails. And at that point, I was wearing gloves, which helped me, which kind of aided me to get out. But this is not an accessible design, is it? Good luck to the owner who was living there before, but I would never kind of do this to my doors. Can you imagine having someone being trapped on your website, someone who's actually trying to purchase something, or someone who's actually trying to design something in your application and not being able to do so? It's frustrating. It's actually so annoying. And that's when you think, let me go and check if there's any other website that can do the same thing. Why am I using this one? I'm just trapped. Can you imagine someone who may have a disability and get stuck there? What would they do? So we need to kind of think about these things and make sure that you make your website accessible for everyone. Also, sometimes, I don't know if you've heard about it, but there's missing old text. There's invisible description of some images on your websites. So when you have a screen reader and someone who is not able to see your screen will not know what that image is because an old text is missing there. So this is something important to note as well. Sometimes people like to use their applications with low bandwidth, very low bandwidth. So they remove imaging off their screens for a particular reason. When you do that, when you try and test and no imaging on your website, do all your images just fade, or they're still there with descriptions? These are some basic checks that you can check. Oops. Okay, so this brings us to part 2. How did I bring accessibility into my team? My steps. So first of all, you need to bring awareness. Start chatting about accessibility. So why is accessibility important? How could accessibility benefit your product? These are the kind of things you need to start talking. Maybe start talking to a colleague, see what their thoughts are, try and understand if anyone in your team is aware of this. Then what I did was I created some informative slides, and I actually presented this to the head of technology, and I wanted to kind of get a thumbs up from them and see if I can kind of proceed into the team with this idea. Now, when I was communicating this, you have to work on yourself as well and how you want to convey information. When I was actually hosting and teaching one of the courses in the Testers Guild around communication, Scott Kenyon there very rightly said that sometimes things that you communicate and the way it's been understood, it's completely different. So I might say something and someone else might understand it very differently. So that's why work on your communication so that everyone can be on the same wavelength. In terms of teams, speak to individuals, as I said, and your team. Showcase your findings, actually, some of your research that you've done around your product and how accessibility is going to make it better. Of course, research, so suggest options. I'm not saying everything in terms of accessibility you have to pay for or buy licenses. Loads of tools are actually free. And then report, obviously. Create a report for the product. When you create a report for the product, you can actually use this as a proof to back up all your research, your showcasing of why accessibility should be very important for your team. And this report could be anything that you can add. So a tool that you're using for your product or a certain area that you selected for your product that you want to do accessibility testing on. One thing I forgot to say as well, I've got it on my notes. Try and shift left, basically spot accessibility issues on design and assess them as well. And if you're basically using screens or front end, understand your issues that you're finding in terms of accessibility and the tools you're using, and put them into a user story level. Put as much information as you can on them so that if this does come into a user story or into your sprint, then you know exactly what needs to be done. Try and give suggestions as well, that this color is not really accessible. Maybe change it to this tone because it is accessible, or it is helping the AA or the AAA standards, or even single A, depending on your product. Team coaching. So what do I do? So I deliver information, become an SME, so subject matter expert, or an advocate for accessibility. So that's how you're trying to coach your team. You're basically trying to help them understand something. How to back my point is important. Sometimes we feel like we are saying something, we're presenting something, but the team's not really on board with it. So I can take some outputs of my research or report. I can actually show it to the UX designers and get their backing as well, that yes, we could have used this color. Why didn't we think about it before? And that helps. You can basically, how do I convince? That's another tricky one for me, because I thought I kept going on about this for some time and then finally it was understood. So by explaining accessibility and making sure I deliver the vital details. So again, your proofs, your backing, your reports, these are all important. And finally, how do I know they understand? So what information they understand or find as blockers? This is where the healthy conversation comes in, and you understand that, right, I've said what I've had to say. Now the team's actually asking me questions. So how do we kind of work together to make this as an important part of our team. And at the end of the day, it's in the firm's best interest. You rather do this sooner rather than later, as explained before, because additional costs come with it, additional situations may rise, and you may miss having something that's vital for your product. Part 3. So when and how to do accessibility testing? This is a question to you actually. When do you think? So start thinking in your head and then I'll answer the question next. But I had a very interesting conversation with one of my managers and I asked them, so why are we not doing accessibility actually? And the answer was, we are a B2B product. We are not a B2C. I got really worried there. Even if we are a B2B product, even if the product that we are creating and a consultant is using it to show results to the client, what if the consultant is colorblind? Have we added any kind of respect towards that? Are we socially aware for that? So that was really shocker for me. And I just thought this is not about a B2B or B2C. It should just be embedded where possible because we don't know who is using it and what are their conditions. So if we're trying to be socially aware, we need to respect every kind of aspect around that. And yes, I hope you've got the answer for the question, when to actually do accessibility testing. So as soon as possible, really, at the most early stages possible. So again, we are trying to shift left. Remember, we're not trying to shift right. So if we're shifting left, if there's any design session going on or planning session, that's a good phase to start with and understand how, if we are making this design right now or this tooltip, is it accessible enough now or not? Shall I change the colors straight away now? Or shall we go to production and then change it? It makes sense to do it early. You can always bring it in your requirements gathering as well. When a product owner comes up with some options, you can think about, have we thought about how the design or the product's going to be accessible with this new addition to the product? So as I said, start as early as possible. It just helps. It helps a lot. So good old budget. This is something that I hear a lot. We don't have budget. Let's leave it. Let's put it under the carpet for now. We'll come to it later in the future. But why? Why would you rather risk it? Do you want all these legalities chasing you? I think it's really risky to be doing that. Also, you want to reach out to more people. It's in the best interest for everyone, really. And it is important, of course. So why are we thinking about the budget when we have so many free tools available? We have so many plugins that we could actually go today, put it into our Chrome plugin and actually start doing some accessibility testing. So there's a lot of options out there. It's just about us researching and presenting it in the right manner for the team to be on board. Right. So this is also important. Some of you may be wondering, if I do make a report, what do I actually include in it? So you could actually include areas you tested. So you don't have to test the entire product in one go. You can just pick and choose small areas, medium areas, or large areas, just one page, all pages, or just half a page, your choice. So mention the areas you would concentrate on and why when reporting. Showcase your results. So show the results of your checks. Like if you saw critical issues in one area, what were they and what do you think you could do? Suggestions. If possible, provide some suggestions. At times I've provided colors. What colors are the best choice for this kind of area and what's more standards-wise acceptable for the product? Other things you can think about, I've got a little list here, so I'm just going to mention a few. What conformance level are you working towards as well? If I remove images from the website, can I still see them? Can I still see some sort of description or not? So this is something to think about when designing your applications. The labels are correctly written and placed or not. The audio video content is properly audible or visible. The color contrast ratio is maintained. Can I tab through the content of a page? Colors used are accessible. Meaningful multimedia captions. Error messages are informative. This one could be a bit cosmetic and accessible as well. So if your error message is not understandable on your tooltip, then it doesn't really make much sense having it. You better improve that, make it more accessible, and have it more cosmetic as well. Also, think about the way you have your tooltips as well. As I said earlier, think how are they being accessible. So yeah, these are some of the things that you could have as part of your report and some checklists that you can follow too. Results. So what happens when you kind of do these things in your team? You become an advocate, you're a subject matter expert, you're spreading more eminence around accessibility, and you're doing a good thing. You feel accomplished because team members approach you, they keep you in the loop. And actually, UX designers were approaching me and they were trying to understand how I could help them. They were using my report to see how they could improve designs. So it all works very well when you're doing this. So follow my steps. So number one, I would say do a lot of research. It's super important. You can't just jump into accessibility today, for example. Of course, you've learned a lot, but do a little bit of your research as well and understand it better. What is accessibility and how your team could benefit from it? Step two would be to test your application, have some details to showcase so you can have a backup or you can use it as proof for your team that you've done this and it's quite beneficial for the team. Number three would be to prepare an informative session. So share this information with your team and see what they think. If they have any blockers or anything, they'll talk to you about it. Step four would be to have accessibility as part of your testing approach, so part of your testing strategy. And what does this make you? You're alified. So it just gives you that thing that you feel good as well, that your product is reaching more people out there. You're socially aware and your product is more innovative in that way too. Some quick checks and tips for you to take away. Plugins you can download right away is Arc Toolkit, Axe, Wave, Lighthouse, Remove Styling or Screen Readers. You can also use throttling. So try and use your application with slow 3G, no throttling, offline, see how it works. You can also use emulation, some blurred vision, see how your product looks for people who have blurred vision. Try and go onto your colors on your website or your application and try and right click there, check the color contrast and see if it's AA compliant, AAA, or if it's even accessible. You'll get 2 ticks if it's accessible. You won't get nothing if it's not accessible. You'll get red cross. So that makes you think as well as to what to do next. Okay, 4 principles of accessible content. Can I perceive it? Can I use it? Can I grasp it? And can I access it? If you can pick all of these 4 and tick them for your product, then I guess you are alified. You've actually got a really good product and you are making it so socially aware and innovative so that everyone can use it. And you don't need to think about legalities or risks that might come with it in the future. A little video here again for you all. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make a blueberry muffin in a cup, and this is how I'm making it. So I've put it in the microwave and hopefully it fluffs up a little bit. I didn't put a lot of baking powder there, but hopefully it does something. Okay, so it looks like it's done. And as I said, it's a blueberry cupcake in a cup. So the question here now is, why am I adding blueberries on the top at the end? They should have been part of my mixture, isn't it? So that's what, this is something really interesting that I caught from Gavin Waterhouse at the Ministry of Testing meets up in Manchester. So it's really interesting because, as I said earlier, have accessibility as part of your testing strategy. Don't put it at the end when it's too kind of late and you have more costs to come with it, more legalities to think about. So think about it sooner rather than later. A little summary for you to take away. So understand accessibility. This is really important. Why you should do it, how to do it and how to convince your team to do it, how to introduce this to your respective teams. So I hope you took some tips away from my slides today. What can you do? So how can you help? You can definitely do reports. You can talk to people in your team. There might be someone who's actually done it in the past as well. So it will help you pairing up with them and collaborating, or even other teams, maybe, and some useful tips and tools that you kind of learned today. What this leaves me with is that if you do this successfully, other teams may want it too. So you can showcase this further and further and make it important for your company. So that was all from me. Thank you very, very much. I hope this was insightful for you and you took some learning away with you. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm happy to chat with you, and make sure you connect with the advocates that I mentioned at the start. Thank you very much. And reach out for any kind of questions you have.